And I know when I pass over to David and Shane in KPMG, they will give a lot more information around that. But as the head of funded projects and the manager of the network of the Irish Medtech Skillnet, it's great to be at this position. It's been a while coming to get to this position, to be able to launch this survey and to be able to have this informational webinar. We know how important it is that we have a future skills reports for the sector and for manufacturing, and that's what we're really focusing on here this morning. This wouldn't have been possible to do without the funding from Skillnet Ireland and without the sponsorship from the Irish Medtech Association. So again, the importance of the ecosystem and the funding and bringing the bringing of industry together with the right people to be able to produce a report at the end of this is really, really important. And we hope that this will be a report that will be comprehensive for everyone to be able to reflect and to be able to go to and look to for the information that's required for our skills into the future. And I'm not going to add any more other than the fact that we are delighted to have been able to partner with KPMG. And David and Shane are here this morning, and they're going to take us forward and talk us through the process from here on out. So I'll hand over to yourself, Shane. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks very much for the introduction. Well, look, my name is Shane O'Sullivan, and I'm joined by my colleague David Walsh from KPMG Strategy's Life Science Division. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Anne and Yvonne for inviting us here today to help talk about how vital this survey is to the Future Skills Needs project. KPMG is delighted to be supporting them in this endeavour, and I'd also like to express our gratitude to everyone who is watching this webinar, whether it's live or you're watching a recorded version. We really appreciate you coming along to watch today, because it's ultimately your thoughts and input which are vital to the success of the report. So for today's agenda, I'm just going to cover 4 points over the next 10 minutes. First, I'll be giving you a summary of the project, the Future Skills project, and how KPMG is supporting Irish Medtech Skillnet in achieving that. Next, I'll talk about some of the context in which this report has been done and how it interlocks with some of the existing research in the medtech space. Thirdly, we'll be talking about what the survey asks and why it is so important that you take the 5 to 10 minutes it will take to complete it. And then lastly, I'll be sharing the survey link and QR code themselves, and I'll be taking any questions you might have. I think we have a bit of background noise, so if everyone could just mute their mics, that would be greatly appreciated. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes and I'll explain this important project and walk through it. Next slide, please, Yvonne. Thank you. So look, as I said, KPMG is absolutely delighted to be supporting Irish Medtech Skillnet in their Future Skills Needs report. There are 3 main aims of the report to be achieved over 3 phases of work. The aims are to first assess the current skilling needs and the challenges therein. Secondly, to assess the future growth of those needs and also identify any new needs which are emerging in the medtech sector. And then thirdly, determine how best those needs can be solved via new training initiatives and novel ways of delivering training. Our phases of support are as follows and are shown here in 3 boxes. First, we'll be looking both locally and globally, carrying out a local and international research program. We'll be identifying medtech needs, challenges, opportunities, and new skilling initiatives. A key part of that phase is the survey of the local industry here in Ireland. Phase 2 will be looking at both Ireland and other key nations and benchmarking the Irish medtech sector against them. And the idea here is to forecast in a very quantifiable way the skills and the growth and skills needs over the next 5 years. And then in phase 3, we will be developing a series of clear and actionable recommendations. Those will be industry tested with experts and will be crafted to ensure that the solutions fit the problems that we've identified. We're currently in phase 1 here in the blue box, and a key part of phase 1 is the survey. We're hoping to carry out a broad and representative survey of the medtech industry in Ireland. We're looking for input from every level and every function. Whether you're an entry-level trainee or a country head, whether you're R&D or HR, we'd like to hear from you. And this survey will help us identify the most crucial aspects of the landscape and those which most need skilling. So I'm just going to talk a bit about the context in which we're doing this survey. The last medtech skills report was in 2017, And since then, we've had, I would say, 5 pretty major upheavals in medtech. First and foremost is COVID-19. Obviously, it goes without saying the impact that that's had on the industry, whether it's in changes of demand for various types of medtech, or changes in ways we work, changes in ways we upskill. The second major series of changes are in the economy and kind of economic-wide changes. First and foremost, the sustainability agenda, which I think is now key in every major organization across the planet. And secondly, the new focus on technical education. I think we've all seen those ads for generation apprenticeship on the train or on the bus, and there's an increasing acceptance that this needs to be part of the solution for medtech. 2 industry-specific changes have been in regulation and in technology. Obviously, since 2017, the MDR and the IVDR have moved all the way from legislation to implementation. Those have caused new skilling needs. And secondly, technology, whether it's material science or automation, digitization, technology will always create new skills needs. So that's something we're looking to capture in this report as well. So a series of 3 quite excellent reports were produced in 2022. First and foremost was the Irish Medtech Association strategy for the next few years, the Global Medtech Hub. And that looks at the past of the Irish industry and how it will move into the future. One of the pillars on which it builds is Talent to Thrive, which appropriately was the name of the Irish Medtech Skillnet strategy for the next few years. And that kind of outlines the role that Irish Medtech Skillnet will play in the coming years and a number of key themes around which it's building its offerings. And then finally, a future skills needs report has been developed for the connected health sector. And that was developed by Skillnet Ireland in collaboration with Irish Medtech Association and Biopharmachem Ireland. And that report looks at the connected health sector, looks at its growth, and looks at the expected skills needs development over the years to come. And now we're looking to do the same for the medtech sector. So next slide, please, Yvonne. So look, I've been speaking a bit about the survey. On this slide, you can see what it actually looks like. It is a short, anonymous survey. It'll take no more than 10 minutes to complete, and it does not ask you for any confidential information. We're going to ask some general questions to gauge your opinion on what skilling is needed and how best it should be delivered. There'll be questions on your company so that we know whether you're with a multinational or an SME, and that will let us understand how different companies have different skill needs. There'll be questions on your role and your function so we can understand what aspect of the company you're coming from. There'll be questions on current unmet skill needs and how you plan to prioritize between them. There'll be questions on challenges, whether those are economic, workforce related, or just practical, like whether there's a skilling opportunity nearby to you. There'll be also a series of open questions. In those, you can share detailed responses and you can name specific skill needs that you'd like to have addressed. The more detail you share, the more useful this survey will be. If you have a specific skilling need that you have been thinking about for a while and sitting on, now is your chance to have it heard. And next slide, please. Oh, pardon me, back a few slides, please. Yes, that one there, yes. So look, this is a representative example of the types of questions in the survey. You can see that it's relatively general and it's not asking confidential information. Here we're asking your opinion on the approach you think is best to solve emerging skill needs in the medtech sector. And look, maybe you think that's best solved by an apprenticeship, which would be focused entirely around that emerging skill need. Or maybe you think a series of micro-credentials and bite-sized education for the existing workforce is the way to go. Whatever you think the answer is, we would greatly like to hear it. I'd like to remind you again that this survey is completely anonymous. We cannot track your answers. And if you don't leave your contact details in an open question, we will not be able to contact you. Your answers will help shape Irish Medtech Skillnet offering now and in the future. This is your chance to have your say on what training should be delivered and how it should be delivered and what topics are currently unaddressed. With that, I'd like to turn to the next slide and to a QR code of the survey. Our ask of you right now is to please scan the survey and start completing it in the remainder of the time we have here today. Remember, the survey is anonymous, it's very important, and it is your views that count. We'd like your best guess on the questions. Nobody is expecting specific research on anything, but it's your honest opinions which are what count. We'd also like to encourage you to share this survey as widely as you possibly can. Please, send it to friends in other companies, send it to colleagues, particularly those in other departments, so that we have a wide uptake, and share it both to junior and senior colleagues. As more individuals take this survey, the true opinions and needs of the medtech sector will emerge. This survey will only ever be as good as the number of people who take it, and I'd like to encourage you all to both take it and encourage others to do so. I'd like to again thank Anne and Yvonne as Irish Medtech Skillnet's representatives for having us here today to launch the survey, and we look forward to supporting them in producing the full report and to seeing it distributed in the medtech community. You can contact either myself from KPMG or Yvonne from Irish Medtech Skillnet if you have any questions or queries at all, or if you just want to have a chat on skill needs, we'd be available for that as well. And I'd be delighted to answer any questions anyone would have. And I think with that, I'll pass back to Owen, who I think is going to just offer some words on how important this survey is.
That's wonderful. Shane, I'm just going to stop spotlighting you there. So we're all back on screen. So if people have any questions, you're very welcome to pop them into the chat bar, and David, Shane, or either Yvonne and myself will do our absolute utmost to answer those questions for you. So today marks a really pivotal moment in that we're launching the survey out to the industry. As you can imagine with these things, a lot of work has gone in over the past number of months and weeks in terms of the survey design. The survey is going to map out the Irish Medtech Association along with our Skillnet and our strategy for skills in Ireland, either the skills that are needed right now, if there's shortage of skills, if we need to get additional people into the country, or we need to get courses and programs developed to develop new graduates to meet skills that are maybe a couple of years away. And I know that the international research component, as well as the national element that's being carried out by this survey, is going to be really, really important. Look, we're all very busy. You guys are all extremely busy, but we would ask that to take the 10 minutes to participate in the survey. Your feelings, your thoughts, your impressions and opinions are really, really important. And as Shane said, it doesn't need to be very detailed, analysis. We just want to get your input in, and we may have an opportunity to follow up if we have any additional questions. We will be sharing it online through social media channels, through LinkedIn and to Twitter, and KPMG and our partners will be pushing it out through their own channels as well. We would encourage you to share, to post, and just to maximize the number of responses. We need multiple hundreds of responses to make sure we're getting an accurate picture. So if I look at the call today, I think we have 30 or so people on it. So it's only like maybe 10% or even less than that of the people we need. So we do really need to get it out and to disseminate it. And as I say, it's going to inform the Irish Medtech Association on our policy and advocacy asks for the industry with government for the next number of years. It's going to inform Anne and Yvonne on the training interventions and the upskilling agenda that we can work with your company on through our own funded networks and our Skillnet. So it's a really, really important piece of work. I think that's it, Yvonne. I might hand back to you.
I don't see any questions.
Before I hand back, Yvonne, just while I have the floor, I'm going to be a divil and just Yvonne has done a huge amount of work in the background in designing this survey. We've done multi-stakeholder preparatory roundtable sessions, and we've organised the webinar today, and Yvonne is going to be guiding Anne and ourselves through this process along with David and Shane and KPMG. So while I have the floor, Yvonne, I'd just like to say a huge thank you for the work you've done. This is going to be a really seminal piece of research, and it's going to be used by the Trade Association and the industry for the next 2 to 4 years. So it's really important that we get this bang on, and I'd like to thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you.
I'd like to second that, Owen. I totally agree. It's been brilliant work. Thank you very much, Yvonne. And I just wanted to add to what Owen said as well with regards to companies responding to the survey. It doesn't just have to be one person in the company. There may be across particularly, I suppose, in the multinationals, there could be people from different departments because we're looking for information from regulatory, from manufacturing, from all the different areas within the company as well, from engineering, obviously. So we need feedback across the companies. So if there's people here today representing multinationals, or, you know, training needs, or from an R&D background or whatever, I think it's important that you look at the survey and see if there's a relevance maybe across the company, and there could be 3 or 4 people that could actually answer the same survey from within one company. I just wanted to add that as well.
So I just see one question here in the Q&A box. It was just around the time window for the survey. It takes only about 10 minutes. Again, the more detail you want to add is very, very welcome. But on average, the survey only takes 10 minutes. We have tested it so far. So the average time to take the survey is 10 minutes. It really is not a massive amount of time out of your day. But we do really, really appreciate it. And the impact that it will have is massive in terms of, like Owen said, policy and training going forward will be based upon the output of this survey. So we really would encourage you to take those 10 minutes and to encourage your colleagues to do the same.
And Yvonne, how long will it be live for? Are we keeping the survey open for?
So the survey launches today. So it will go live today, and it will be open for 6 weeks. So during that 6 weeks, we are looking for 400 responses. So it's quite an ask, and we want everyone from the medtech ecosystem to input into this, whether you're an SME, a multinational, from all corners of the country. We want it to really be representative of the entire ecosystem in Ireland, so that the report is something tangible, it's something useful, it's something that a site lead or a policymaker can pick up and find real value in.
I think it looks like we're going to be giving people back a few minutes in their diary so they can scan the QR code or click the link in the chat and take a look at it now and have a look through it with the extra little bit of time, and maybe see are there other people within their organizations that should feed into it as well as themselves. So it'd be a really good opportunity now to use the couple of minutes we have extra, maybe just to take a quick look at it and send it around.
Yeah, I've just popped it up here again. So just the QR code is here. I've already put the survey link into the chat box if you want to just click on that. Or if you have your phone handy, you could scan the QR code and just do that with the extra little bit of time that you've got back with your morning. And I think we might close it if there's no other questions there. So following this, we will send out the slide deck. We will be sending out the link and the recording. So Sylvia's just asked there in the Q&A box if we can share it by email. You will get an email, and the slide deck and the recording will be with that as well. So when you share it with your colleagues internally, they will have all the information there with the link. Perfect. Well, with that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us this morning, and a big thanks to Shane and to David from KPMG, and of course to Anne and Owen as well for giving up your time this morning. And like we said, if you can take the time to do it right now, that would be brilliant. But if not, please do take 10 minutes over coffee over the week, and maybe you'll be able to share it with some colleagues internally. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks for having us. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.